say deploy. You see, that's why it just makes it so much easier, right? So I've created a new repository here on GitHub. I've got Codex to push it all up there, right? And then I've gone to Vercel and said, hey, go to my GitHub and just deploy that to the internet. Okay, so that's now done, right? I should be able to go back and see that somewhere, hit a refresh. This is all my projects, right? I'm Vercel. There is our app, okay? Already deployed. Now, before I can test it, I need to put all of the environment variables, right? How to connect to my database, how to connect to Twilio, how to connect to my Google Sheet, all these things that I have to do locally, I have to put into Vercel as well, because Vercel doesn't know how to connect to Twilio and the email provider and the database. We're not using database anyway. The details of the Google Sheet. So all these details we put here in the local environment file. We also need to let Twilio, the Vercel, know. Okay. So I'm going to do is I'm going to create what's called an access token that allows my Codex to talk to Vercel and automatically configure all of the environment variables. Right, it's like an API key, so that I don't have to put in all the environment variables manually for Vercel to allow my hosted solution now to work. So let me create the access token in Vercel. I'm going to do it offline. Okay, so we can see that Codex has set up and pushed all those environment variables that we needed, all of our keys, okay, so that the application works. It's configured that in Vercel because I gave it the access token. Now, if you don't know how to get the access token in Vercel, just ask ChatGPT or ask Codex, which is what I did, okay. Now, it's saying that I need to change the app-based URL. It can't be pointing to local, right? So let me first bring down Vercel. Let's have a look at a couple of things, okay. So this is now our application deployed on the internet, right? You can see that Vercel's picked up the home screen. We'll test this in a moment. But if I go now to settings and environment variables, you can see these are all the different environment variables that we had to configure on our computer. How do we know we had to configure these? Because Codex gave us an example file, right? That it needs all these things, the Twilio detail, the SendGrid detail, the database detail, the Google Sheet details, all these things, right? And so we configure them locally in our .env local file, and it needs the same things when we deploy it in the environment. And so it's configured all that for me. I didn't have to go in here and manually put all those in, right? That's the beauty of having the access token and using Codex to do all this configuration for us. Now, one thing we need to do, as Codex has told us, is that this is pointing to a local computer, which is wrong, which is this. We need to set this up, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a domain for this app. Okay, so I'm going to go into domains, and I'm going to add an existing domain, and it's going to be, I'm trying to call it Tradies. Actually, let me quickly go to my website so I don't get any typos. All right, I'm going to basically just add a domain. I mean, this is just a demo, right? So Tradies agent, we would deploy this. If we were going to host it for the client, then we would create a brand new domain and host it for the client, okay? But this is just a demo app for the purposes of this teaching. So I am just going to put on a subdomain on my website like this. So this will be tradiesagent.vibecodingacademy.club. Now I can use this, when I am talking to clients to show them a demo. So tradiesagent.vibecodingacademy.